Former President Donald Trump addressed the media at his private estate in Florida, speaking in his characteristically confident tone as he discussed what he described as the beginning of a Phase 1 ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, a development he claimed reflected the type of peace he had always envisioned for the Middle East. Standing at a podium adorned with American flags and flanked by his advisors, Trump began by emphasizing the need for strong leadership and decisive diplomacy, asserting that the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas had reached a point where both sides were willing to consider steps toward de-escalation. He credited his administration's previous Middle East policies for laying the groundwork for dialogue, citing the Abraham Accords as an example of what he called peace through strength. According to Trump, the current ceasefire discussions represented an extension of the foundation he had built during his presidency, and he expressed optimism that this could be the first real step toward stability in the region after years of violence and mistrust. He stated that he had been in informal contact with several leaders and diplomats familiar with the talks, adding that people are starting to realize that strength brings respect and respect brings peace. Trump also used the opportunity to criticize the current U.S. administration, suggesting that the progress being made in negotiations was a result of his earlier policies rather than any new initiative. He claimed that his team had been in touch with influential figures in Israel and across the Arab world who were eager to see his potential return to the White House because, as he put it, they know I deliver results. Trump went on to describe the ceasefire as a structured process, divided into multiple phases, with Phase 1 focusing on the cessation of hostilities, humanitarian access to affected areas, and the exchange of detainees. He praised Israel for what he called its measured and responsible approach to defending itself while acknowledging that peace required concessions from both sides. He urged Hamas to demonstrate genuine commitment to peace rather than using ceasefires as opportunities to rearm or reorganize. At one point, Trump recounted his own experience dealing with Middle Eastern leaders, describing his personal rapport with several heads of state and his belief that diplomacy succeeds only when backed by firmness and clarity. He recalled moments from his presidency when he negotiated sensitive matters in the region, claiming that his direct, business-like approach had earned him the respect of leaders who had long distrusted Washington. Throughout his remarks, Trump portrayed himself as the architect of the geopolitical mindset that made the current ceasefire possible, arguing that his administration's recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital had strengthened rather than weakened the peace process by putting truth over political co. The former president's remarks about his intention to visit the Middle East soon came with his trademark mix of confidence, nostalgia, and ambition, as he described what he framed as a mission of dialogue and strength. Speaking to a crowd of supporters and reporters, Donald Trump said his upcoming travel plans were designed to reinforce the principles of peace, stability, and American influence that he believes are essential for progress in the region. He began by recalling his previous visits to the Middle East during his presidency, when he met with leaders in Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United Arab Emirates, describing those trips as some of the most successful diplomatic missions in American history. He noted that those meetings laid the groundwork for the Abraham Accords and several other regional understandings, which he believes have transformed the landscape of Middle Eastern diplomacy. Trump explained that his new trip would build on that foundation, focusing not only on political discussions but also on trade, investment, and what he called mutual respect between strong nations. He emphasized that the visit would not be ceremonial but strategic, designed to reconnect with allies who he said trust strength and results, not weakness and excuses. He announced that he intended to meet with Israeli officials, Gulf leaders, and representatives from other nations interested in expanding their diplomatic and economic cooperation with the United States. Trump claimed that several heads of state had personally reached out to him in recent weeks, expressing appreciation for his earlier peace initiatives and inviting him to discuss the ongoing ceasefire and future partnerships. He said he planned to visit Jerusalem first, calling it a city that symbolizes both the struggles and the hopes of humanity. He spoke about the significance of faith and unity, noting that peace in the Middle East requires respect for all Abrahamic religions. Trump said he hoped his presence would send a message of reassurance to the people of Israel that America's friendship remains unwavering, while also extending a hand to Arab partners committed to building a new era of stability and economic growth. He mentioned that his delegation would include several former advisors, business leaders, and diplomats familiar with the region, emphasizing that his approach would blend political negotiation with business-style pragmatism. He told reporters that the purpose of his journey was to restore respect for America's role as a power of peace, claiming that under his administration, world leaders had viewed the United States as a decisive force, not a hesitant observer. Trump criticized what he called the confusion and inconsistency of current foreign policy, arguing that the world misses the kind of clarity that only firm leadership can bring. He described his forthcoming Middle East tour as a journey of reassurance and realignment, saying it would mark the begin